Full Moon. We're on episode 16 now, and
it's going by really slow.
I think you said that like in every single episode.
It's going by slow.
Really slow. Well, guys, we're on to the first Puppet Master, well, first and only Puppet Master crossover, Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys, released in 2004. And this is one of the weirder ones in the batch, just because of Full Moon did not actually make it.
I love how you're the weirder one out of the weird ones.
Yeah, the weird one out of the weird one. But Full Moon didn't make this because, well, in the early 2000s, they were, like, hemorrhaging money, which they kind of always are, but, like, they sold off the rights to Puppet Master and Demonic Toys.
That's why you don't ever intend to make money. Then you just write everything off as a loss. That's the way you do.
And, well, they had no creative control in it. Like,
you could tell, because I don't think some of the directions they went, I don't think if Band had it, he would have took it that way.
Yeah, so Charles Band always has control over every single movie Full Moon makes. You always see his name in the credits as something. But his name's not in this, and it is directed...
I'm sure it's, like, I didn't pay attention, like, characters inspired by, like...
I think it's credited to the writer of Puppet Master. It's created by.
Oof.
And even though it's based on a story by Charles Band, like the original Puppet Master, it is written by someone else, so they get the character credits.
Oof.
So his name, I don't think, appears at all in this movie. Now, it does have Ted Nicola.
Which is probably for the best.
Yeah. So it does have Ted Nicola, which I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but he's the guy who oversees all of the subspecies movies for Full Moon. So there was a connection there. And it's also written by someone who is associated with Full Moon. But it did not feel like a Full Moon movie. It was made by the Syfy Channel, which...
You could tell.
Worse than Full Moon?
It actually felt like... And the saddest thing is, this isn't the worst one we've watched so far.
No, it's not the worst Puppet
you
Master.
could tell it's that crappy writing, sets, and stuff of a Syfy Channel movie. And like... Oh, I don't know what word to use. I feel stupid, but it's like... Really, there's too much going on, and it just didn't make as much sense as...
No, it felt cheap. Even though Full Moon movies feel cheap,
it felt cheap in a different way than some of the other ones have felt cheap. That's kind of how I saw it. It wasn't like the original Demonic Toys was... They just boxes everywhere so they could use one set. And they're like, oh, it's a warehouse. Yeah, that's cheap. This was cheap in I don't know what other way, but it's a different way it's cheap.
Yeah, it felt like it was trying to... It was a modern cheap movie, as opposed to the other ones. They kind of feel like
90s,
it's still
80s.
trying to be 80s movies in the 90s. That just kind of
I think
are low budget. But in this one, it feels like a 2000s movie. And it feels like a cheap one.
It's a new millennium. Let's put lasers and cyborgs.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll get to it.
So, with this movie, the biggest draw, and I would say the best part of this movie by far, is that Corey Feldman is in it. Now, like him or hate him, he's entertaining to watch.
Like, he was a good actor. I don't know if he was as a kid, but I enjoyed him as a kid in acting. Now, as an adult, he's kind of that, like, I love the guy. I will watch movies with him. And he's just like, I don't think he tries, and I think he plays the same character and everything.
I think he's okay with that, too.
It's so entertaining. I love watching him because he just plays himself, I think. Because he's kind of an eccentric guy. And in this movie, he has this, I don't know if it's his actual hair. If I had to put money on it, it's not. It was kind of poofy, and then they like peppered it to make it look like he's older than he was.
Mm-hmm. He was 33 when the movie was made.
Yeah, they made him look like he was
had a
like
teenage daughter.
45.
He is an ancestor of Andre Toulon. And being an ancestor, like, he's trying to carry on the legacy.
Special blood.
Yeah, there's
never
that special
brought
blood.
up ever before.
They never mentioned descendants of Toulon before. It was
because
never
it's
a Puppet Master
It's not
trope.
a descendant through him. It's like a descendant. Did they say brother?
He's like the great grandnephew of.
Yeah, it was just
Toulon
like, and there's like, oh, these puppets have guarded us for like generations. It's like, but isn't Toulon the only one that got the puppets, and he was the only one that had them? That was a Toulon.
But when has Puppet Master ever cared about continuity?
Well, yeah, I think this movie's through continuity. I think it acted more like a turn of the millennium type of, like, hey, we need to make these movies more modern. You kind of saw reboots, maybe not necessarily remakes, coming out later than this, obviously, but they still in that same time period. You saw that with like Friday the 13th. I know there were a few Friday the 13th and stuff into the 2000s, but it's that type of, we're not remaking, but we're like soft rebooting. Just
yeah, and the reason they do that is because like even Charles Band does not consider this part of the continuity of Full Moon. They did not make it. It is not part of the normal continuity.
I would love to see an interview why I mean, it was probably to get money.
They need money. That's pretty much why they did it. And they just assume that it doesn't exist. They just act like it doesn't.
I love that. It's like, give us money, you can make a movie, but I'm not going to make it canon.
That's pretty much how it went. But it's alright, because no one would care. So, looking at it from the Puppet Master side, Corey Feldman's Toulon descendant, I think his name might be Robert Toulon. They are... he gets the puppet somehow. Don't explain how, but he
bought them at not a fair, but some type of like place in Paris.
Yeah, so he did buy them in Paris. Why they were in Paris, I don't know. Screw the continuity; it makes no sense. But there's 4 puppets in this, and they make their first error, and they can't use since they have a different. They don't have the rights to the exact puppets.
They look like off-brand. You get of these puppets. They look good at times, but they were off.
Puppet Master at home, pretty much.
You're like looking. It's like this is a little off.
All of them too.
I think they were like plastic faces instead of the other ones. Either had maybe some type of other polymer or they were wood. I don't remember what they were.
Well, he kind of looked a little porcelain in his face, but in this movie it just looked cheap. He had really long hair too.
Yeah, his hair was longer than usual.
And all of their faces are off. But the thing is, there's 4 puppets, and they made their second major error by not including Tunneler. Only 6-shooter.
It was probably
Blade,
cheaper just to make the least amount of puppets as possible.
And Jester included.
I honestly would have took Jester out and put Tunneler.
Yeah.
That's what I would.
But the thing is, up until this point, Jester, Pinhead, Blade, and Tunneler, those were the 4 that were always in it. Now, Leech Woman wasn't in it as well, but that's alright, because she's been off and on. Like, she should have been dead in Puppet Master 2, but she came back randomly in the sequels. And then Torch wasn't in it, which sucks, because he's the coolest one. But what happens in this movie, you see them as their puppets in the very beginning, and then they catch on fire when people try to break in. So Corey Feldman does Corey Feldman things and makes them cyborgs. So, like, they have, like, Jester has a mace now.
There's, like, a toy company that this lady owns that, like, I didn't get the grade on why she was so, like, evil. She just didn't like making toys for children, I guess. And she wanted Toulon's toys for herself, to serve her. That was like her sole purpose, which was kind of not the best. And when they had a secret underground lair that screamed like with guards that screamed James Bond. And it was just like, so she's been watching. She's the one that gets the guys to break in to try to take them. And then that's when the toys the dolls get damaged because they get lit on fire because the guys break in, you know, they get cut a little bit, and then they're like, oh, fall back, and they run away. And then a fire starts. Oh, and Corey Feldman gets knocked out. He's like, oh, what's going on? Bam, gets punched in the head. He's out. And then, like, they all catch on fire, and they're just, like, being retarded toys on fire.
The effects are also awful. Like, it's...
There was no good... Okay, there was one cool kill that was, like, actually noteworthy.
We can talk
We'll
about
get that later, but, like, everything, like... But it's funny, Corey Feldman's knocked out fire, and then his daughter has to come out and put out all the fires. And that's why, like, Corey Feldman has to, I guess, turn them into cyborgs.
He just does because he wants to, pretty much. He was tampering with them. So, yeah, to finish up talking about the puppet side of it is, they, like, even 6-shooter has, like, 6 lasers, and it's ridiculous. Now, the Demonic Toys, as Shane talked about, is, like, this toy company, is this person running it has, like, pretty much, like, had her father sell his soul in order to give her the demonic toys. Now, demonic toys are missing Mr. Static. But besides that, they have Grizzly Teddy, who looks about the same. Baby Oopsie Daisy, who...
Better voice than the last time you saw him, but I still think the first voice was the best.
And the design was a little bit better than before, but honestly, the character wasn't as good as the original one. And then,
you know, if you've watched all these, you kind of know my feelings on demonic toys. Yeah. It's more of that.
Yeah, we don't like demonic toys. But with Jack Attack was in it, and he looked awful. You guys can't see it too well on this, but Jack Attack just looked absolutely horrendous in this movie. So anyways, the puppets and demonic toys fight once at the very end. And the puppet masters are played off as the good guys, demonic toys are the bad guys. The puppets just beat them senselessly. Like
the demonic toys didn't have a chance.
Pinhead squished Baby Oopsie Daisy's head and threw her into a pit in hell. We'll get to the pit in hell in a moment. And then let's see, they cut off, like, Blade cuts Jack Attack in half, but then he's still alive, so just Jester hits him once and he dies. And then Blade just kind of, like, does, like, a twirl with his knives and cuts Grizzly Teddy's head off.
Grizzly Teddy's just, like, fur and fluff.
Yeah, it's, the puppets don't really get injured, they just demolish, they god mod their way through demonic toys. So let's talk about the Pit to Hell. Since this is like a demonic toys, they need like a demon angle. The woman who runs this toy factory, she like makes a deal with the devil in order. Her plans weren't really that clear, but she just like wants to. She just like,
is
hates
it with
children.
the devil or with
not the devil?
Baal?
Baal, the demon. But
yeah, the like head demon.
Yeah,
Baal.
so he makes a deal with Baal, this demon.
And one thing I gotta say, you do see Baal like probably for about 3 minutes total. And actually, his effects look really good.
Yeah, he uses good practical effects.
It's practical effects. It looked basically like Guar. Just think of the band Guar, and that's kind of the way they.
Not as gnarly.
Like, yeah, but like that. I would say that's the best effects in the movie.
Because it was practical.
It was really good practical effects.
So besides that, there was summoning Baal. She just I don't know. She's just a generic bad guy with no good reason. And they have like the demons attack. Try to like take over Christmas or something like that.
Yeah, they sell all those toys like Baby Oopsie Daisy and all those other demonic toys, and you needed a blood of a Toulon to, I guess, unleash all these demons to possess the toys. This could be wrong. This is what I picked up, and that I guess they just kill people.
That's why I think why they gave them all these toys out. It's kind of like Halloween 3 Season of the Witch with the haunted mask. Just after Halloween, this is on Christmas, but the whole Christmas aspect isn't relevant at all. So, pretty much, the Puppet Masters win, and demonic toys suck. Baby Oopsie Daisy farts a lot.
Oh, she, whatever the heck it is, propels itself with farts. It is
sweet. So let's talk about, what is your favorite kill? The puppets take out demonic toys, but they don't really kill anyone except generic guards.
Like, what was it? He has the freaking clown thing. The guy's holding it. And what happened?
Jack Attack.
Yeah,
Jack Attack, the second-in-hand henchman who's helping the woman is like letting Jack Attack out of the box to take down Corey Feldman. But when he gets out, he just kind of like gets like, not electrocuted, but just kind of like shocked, I guess, still.
And his eyes just pop out,
and it's practical. And
it was actually pretty cool.
But the puppets didn't do it, and I guess Jack Attack did it.
The only good kill.
Besides that, Six Shooter shoots some generic guards with his lasers, and the puppets kill a bunch of demonic toys, but the lasers aren't a cool effect. Someone just gets shot with a CGI
perfectly
thing
honest,
and dies.
This movie probably could have been PG-13. I know it was unrated.
Because it was just on TV. It was a TV movie.
I mean, the blood and the eyes,
that was the only effect, and the puppets didn't even do it. And demonic toy, I guess Jack Attack killed the guy. I don't know.
We don't know.
We
don't know what's going on.
So overall, it just wasn't a good movie, and
it's going to be a forgettable one. It's not going to be one that like was so like bad. It's like you remember it and it's good. It's not the worst. I could tell you that much by far. We've seen worse movies, but it's not a good movie. It's definitely probably below most of the Puppet Masters.
So that's the only time Puppet Master crosses over. Demonic Toys will come back in a sequel called Demonic Toys 2 that completely ignores both versus Dollman and versus Puppet Master, and that will be the next episode. But the Puppet Masters are done with crossovers, and after we talk about Demonic Toys next, we're then going to go into the Axis trilogy with Puppet Master. But I just want to be totally done with Puppet Master for Demonic Toys because it was a waste of time. Good Corey Feldman, though.
It honestly might have been better than Dollman versus Demonic Toys.
Oh yeah, it was.
I think it was better than that.
Oh yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't like I hate myself for watching it. It's I just wish I didn't watch it. Tune in next week to possibly see even worse with Demonic Toys 2 Personal
I'm not
Demons.
holding out hope for this one. I've been disappointed by these guys too many times. Demonic Toys suck.
They do.